You saw the thumbnail, right? So what I created here was an extension to my home office desk, which is minimal. This is basically it. I have space for the computer here, a mouse pad and a mouse, and right here, just the same amount of space here where the camera is right now. But with this, I have, for example, access to my SuperNote. If I want to take notes or check something, I can do that and put it here. I also have a space here which I'm using for the camera, but we are now using the camera to record this. And of course, there's my coffee here. And when I'm done, all I have to do is slide this and close the door, close everything, and that's it. Well, I had a rough idea of what I wanted to build, and I decided it had to be built using only materials I already had. This was a weekend project, no runs to the hardware store, everything had to be here. I had to have everything. So the first thing was to remove the sliders, the door sliders from this old project. I built this a long time ago for camping. It served me very well. I loved cooking here, but since it was custom built for a car that we no longer own, disassembling it was long overdue. Plus, like I said, I needed the sliders. And talking about the repurposed materials, you noticed a common theme on this video. I'm constantly figuring out things as I go. In case you haven't noticed yet, this is an Ikea furniture, and that means that this is not real wood, but we need real wood for the sliders. So the first thing was to figure out how deep my platform could go. And thankfully, after some tests, I figured out that that inner part, that, I don't know, that skin, whatever that is, that was the limit. But of course, there's another problem here. As you can see, the lower part of the hinge is in my way. Trust me, you don't want to see the other side. Okay, I'll show you. I think it's not that bad. Next was the platform, which I measured many times before cutting, and it fits perfectly here. It slides, so it's working perfectly fine. I knew from the very beginning I didn't have the tools nor the skills to cut a thin piece of wood for the sides, so I decided I would use lumber just like I did for the sliders. But I would prefer it to be as high as the sliders, just a little bit higher or around that. Unbelievable. Check this. If you like watching maker projects like this one, and if you are enjoying the video, please subscribe. This is a new channel, and I would definitely appreciate your help. Okay, remember the no trips to the hardware store rule? All this wood is repurposed wood, and I'm out of wood filler. What I'm doing here is using a trick I saw my father doing so many times when I was a kid. I don't think wood filler existed back then, and if it existed, it was probably too expensive. This is not perfect, but it works, and it brings back so many memories. Here are some examples of that after sanding and after the Danish oil. This one is way off, but I think it's okay. One example of it working very well, I think this is the goal. This one here, probably too much sanding. And we have to remember that some of these parts here, some of the wood I used here, they were used on 2 or 3 other projects. I like this style. My woodworking is kind of like this. First one is here, and yes, it's made of 2 parts, but don't worry, the tape is here just to hold it in place. Everything's glued. There's a bunch of screws here. Remember, this is a scrap wood project. Now, let me show you this. This is exactly the place where I was already putting my mug. So imagine it out here. Look at that. That's coffee. Now comes the part I have never tried before. I'm thinking of putting this mouse pad here to elevate the drawer a little bit and then slide this and mark the holes. That was it for day one. I was already very happy with the progress, but I still needed to figure out how to build the second level. Yes, I did have a coffee to celebrate the moment. Talking about temporary things in life, I created this temporary shelf here about 2 years ago to test the idea of having two levels inside this space here. And now I'm trying to figure out how to make it slide with the drawer that I just created. It works, but and I still have space for the coffee here. I can use the top part like I showed in the beginning of the video. I was testing the ideas here, but I have to figure out a way to make the fit work because of course this is my 2-year-old temporary idea. I still have enough space here for my mug, and of course this will be raised. Check this. So that's what I had in mind. So place for the mug, put this back here. So I end up just repurposing the same legs. There's now a lot of wasted space here, but I'm fine with this. It's cool. I can put things like this. Yeah, and this is so tight. I didn't attach it to the sides. I'm gonna sand it and use the same Danish oil I used here. But it's pretty cool. That's my vision. See? I have a extension of my desk. I really enjoyed working on this project. And yes, now it's time to go have some fun. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you enjoy videos like this, please subscribe. See you soon.